3, 2, 1. Welcome, guys, to the MMOs.com podcast. This is Altai here with episode 123. I'm joined this week by
Omer. We're ready to rock this week with a good weekly raid like usual. So take it away, Altai.
This week I tried to go wholesome. All right, the last few weekly raids have been a little contentious. So I want something
a little bit. You think
a little bit? So I want something we can just reminisce about nostalgia and all that. So I was inspired by the recent drama that you guys may have heard about. Surrounding NeoGAF, however you say that, which is an internet forum. And it got me thinking, I don't want to go into the drama, by the way, too much, but it got me thinking about forums and communities in general. So the weekly raid question is, where do you go to talk about games? And so that's a pretty open question. It's obviously changed over the years for each of us. But, Omar, what about you? What was like the first place you remember feeling like you were like part of this gamer community? Like,
it was hard because always like the big gaming forums, whether it was on GameSpot, Game FAQs. First of all, I would always read Game FAQs growing up. Like that was like the discussion forum for the games I was interested in. That was my forum, my place to go to for that. But it was always very hard to feel like you were part of a community because all the large sites were too big and all the small sites felt too small. So it was very weird. I rarely posted on these sites. I did have like, I usually, if I made an account on a forum, it would have like maybe like 10 to like 50 posts. But growing up in the forum era, it was always interesting to see like the people on those forums with like thousands of posts. And I guess posts were the original like big dick meter on the internet because let's be real, you see somebody on like on a forum with like 2,000, 3,000 posts and sometimes 5,000 posts. You're like, holy shit, this guy's a somebody. This guy's awesome. He's something, And obviously it doesn't mean anything. You get somebody posts, but that was the original dick measuring contest on the internet. And I think that kind of shows our like attraction to bigger and bigger numbers. And maybe one of the reasons why MMORPGs or online games work so well with the gear grind. People want bigger and bigger numbers just for the sake of bigger and bigger numbers. Because there's nothing more meaningless than a post count on a forum. But we all looked at that number. Like it kind of commanded some respect on the internet for whatever reason. But for me, again, it was my OG places were Game FAQs mostly. And that's it for me.
For me, Game FAQs was huge too. I'm fairly certain I had at least 1,000 posts on Game FAQs.
Did you really?
Yes,
Holy shit!
yes.
How did I not know about this?
I mean, I was a forum warrior. I was active on a few forums. And actually on Game FAQs, I must have been banned like a dozen times.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, I kept going back. Another place I frequented was GameSpy. Anyone here remember GameSpy?
Mm-hmm.
No. So I used to love GameSpy. Then they got bought by IGN, and then they went downhill. They actually shut down in 2013, so they're gone now. Oh, we got a sub. Thank you so much, All Aeneas. I don't know if I said that right.
It's kind of remarkable though how much forums are disappearing from the internet. Though I mean that medium, I think it was still kind of big and relevant. Like when we first made MMO like years ago, like 10 years ago now. I don't know how long it's been a long time. Back then it was somewhat relevant. But it really seems like Reddit really sucked up the entire like gaming community, as well as like so many other sub communities and niche communities kind of moved over to Reddit. And beyond that, I think, let's be real, Discord is the granddaddy of like building communities now. And I would say Twitch as well, actually. There are communities around Twitch supported by Discord, though. And honestly, I've never felt more connected with an audience, with people, with a community, the way I have with Discord. Whether it's my Final Fantasy 14 guild, whether it's my friends' Discord I post in, or the MMOs.com Discord. Those are the three Discords I am active in, and I don't use any other Discords. Really, the MMOs.com Discord, my free company Discord, and then my friends' Discord, where some of our mutual friends from the game and other places hang out too. But those are my three Discords, and in all three, I really enjoy it. You actually get to know people, and if you ever join a Discord with like thousands of people, some of the big streamers have stuff like that, but like it feels very disjointed. It's very hard to communicate with people. But if you have the right size of like good friends and just people you meet on like MMOs.com Discord, very chill group of people there, and it's not too big that you can't know everybody. You know the people in there, you get to know them actually, and you see the same people over and over again, and you make friends with some unlikely group of people with different interests and stuff. And it's, again, it sounds very cheesy, but it's the first time I felt connected with strangers on the internet beyond the we play a game together for 5 minutes. Like, I've met good friends purely on the MMOs.com Discord. I've played many games with, and it's awesome. Like there's nothing else like it. You would see people in games, you talk to them once in a while, but like those are very fading relationships, or people you just meet for a short while. Like Canaris is a good friend of mine. I met him on basically on the MMOs.com Discord. We talk about gaming, we talk about politics, philosophy, the meaning of life, all this deep shit. And like we go from arguing about the most nonsensical stuff about video games to talking about whether we have free will or not. Like the most nonsensical discussion to stuff. But it's great, you know. And I think Discord has been a wonderful thing for gaming communities. And I think it's a logical step up from where forums were. Forums always felt kind of weird. If you want to talk to somebody one-on-one, you had to PM them. Like it was so weird that it took such a long time to have this real-time chat system mixed in, like an advanced chat room, which is what Discord is. Let's be real. So I think Discord has been phenomenal.
I think Discord did for, like, I guess, chat clients, what Reddit did for forums. Where the beauty of Discord is not that it is, TeamSpeak and stuff existed before, right? But those are always, you had to have your own separate community, and it was separate from every other community. Whereas in Discord, you can you can have you can make a new channel, freely, a new server. You can invite people, have different text channels, voice channels. So the fact that I can have so many different communities in one client, I think, is the beauty of Discord. And the connection you described that you had in Discord, I think a lot of people had that same connection in the old days with forums, and then with TeamSpeak, and I actually had that with Skype. I made a lot of good friends on Dota, and we kept in touch with Skype. If it wasn't for because of Skype, I actually went to conventions with people that I never met before, and all this stuff. And Discord obviously now is kind of consuming Skype, the Skype user base, which is a good thing. It's just kind of aggregating it better. It's basically a upgraded tool for what forums and chat rooms used to be.
But it was always kind of weird to like add somebody on Skype that you don't really know. I feel like Skype was for people you already kind of knew, or like indirectly already got to know, where Discord becomes like a place everyone can kind of jump into. Like even people you don't know, they click on MMOs.com Discord, they come there, they talk, whatever. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't add random. Like if you get a random invite on Skype, you're not gonna accept it. You're not gonna talk to some complete rando.
Not random.
You talk about a game first or somewhere.
You're right. So that's what I'm saying. It's an upgrade. For example, on Skype, I would add friends of friends that I played with, right? So, but now with Discord, anybody can join, and then we can kind of go back and forth to decide how much interaction we want with that one person. So it's more open, definitely. Let's see what else.
Real talk though, just NeoGAF drama. You brought it up, so I need a thumbs down, thumbs up from you, or rather, is he guilty? Is the founder of NeoGAF guilty with as little as you know about the situation? I want a conclusive answer.
Yes, he's guilty. Well,
he's guilty.
I don't think he's guilty of any crimes or anything. But one, NeoGAF has been like on the what's it called, receiving end of a lot of like hate even before this, right? There's obviously some stuff there, okay? So it's not like this is the only thing that NeoGAF did wrong, or the owner did wrong. So it's got a history of drama. And for those of you who don't know, he was the owner of NeoGAF, which is a big gaming forum, was accused by multiple people of basically sexual harassment. And I just for fun, I'll give you two examples, okay? So in one, he was out with some friends, and then this lady he was with, a friend, she got sick, so they went back to the apartment or hotel room, and she was taking a shower, and she was like vomiting, and she wanted to clean herself off, right? Because she was sick and vomiting, and he just walks in naked into the shower. And then she's like, "Get the fuck out! What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oops, I misread the situation." And another one,
must have terribly misread the situation. Holy shit!
And another one is this lady comes up to him at a bar or something, and then asks him to buy her a drink, right? Which is what happens at bars, I guess. Guys buy girls drinks. So he's like, okay, he buys her a drink, and then he slaps her ass, and then she just leaves. Like,
all right, listen. Multiple accusations. Look, I know nothing about this drama. I'm gonna say guilty as well. All right, I'm saying guilty. Man's guilty, boys. Lock him up.
I mean,
He's done.
I don't think those are crimes necessarily. But it's kind of funny.
Is it pretty crazy how like this sexual harassment allegations just completely sunk that Weinstein company, some film company, and like it's been all over national news for some reason. I'm always wondering like why the fuck is this like national news? It seems such a small issue. But I guess and now this completely sunk, not yet, but like potentially sunk this huge gaming community. They lost mods, they lost users. There's a big shitstorm on the internet over this.
Yeah, they were down for I think a day or two, which for a forum this size, it was a big deal. This was covered in all the gaming media. They are back up now, but apparently they're not going to allow political discussion anymore because I think that's what they got. That's what got them in trouble a lot in the past. So now they're going to stick to just gaming, which honestly, is a good move. I think. I don't know.
But here's the funny thing, and we should probably move on to something else. But he said in his post defending himself and denying all allegations, like, "Oh, the reason I was so slow to like post up my response was because I was burnt out of moderating the off-topic political stuff. So it kind of kept me weak and like distracted. That's why it took me so long to reply." I don't know. That seems kind of sketch. I ain't buying it.
Look, if you're a powerful guy, you know, you're gonna slap some asses once in a while. All right, I don't know. It's just part of.
It comes with the territory, right?
Yeah, it's part of the culture, and I'm not defending it. It's changing. It's getting better, but it's still part of the culture to some degree, and it is getting better though. So,
True.
Yeah. All right. Well, back.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a good question then, related somewhat to the weekly raid. What is acceptable today? What is not acceptable today on gaming forums or communities that was before?
Are you kidding? The toxicity that was once normal on the internet, and we talked a lot about toxicity in online games. Like, the idea was like people just yelling, insulting each other. Like, I feel like it's gotten to a point where it's not okay anymore. Back in the day, you could just call someone like a fuckface out of forum, even like, or just like the amount of like insults you can sling was much higher in the past before you get moderated or warned even. But now things are very, very PC. Yeah. And in a way, I think it is hurting things a bit too. I feel you get too extreme to one end as well. That's probably the thing that's not okay anymore. It's much more strict.
Like when we were gamers, right? Words like I don't know if I get in trouble for this on Twitch or not, but faggot, right? Didn't actually mean gay, like homosexual. Faggot did not. Faggot was just like a catch-all. Like it wasn't that bad. Like, but now it's bad, right? And retard is another one, right? Retard.
They can't take retard and faggot away from me. I feel like I grew up yelling. Oh, if I can't call someone on Discord or Skype or on voice chat, like if I can't call my own friend a fucking faggot when he messes up or something or does something silly, we're not good friends. I feel like maybe I'm just too old. I don't know. I gotta call my friend a faggot to be able to like be a good friend. If I can't call my friend a faggot, we're not good friends. We're not there yet. Maybe like it's just weird that like that's not okay anymore.
Yeah, it is weird. It is weird. And you know this whole thing with NeoGAF, and also I shall mention another thing that made me think about this was the Escapist, which is another big gaming community. They have a Fithead forum. I watch a lot of their. I used to watch the Yahtzee. Those.
Yep.
I forgot the videos he made.
Zero punctuation.
Zero punctuation. There it is. The Escapist has fired everyone besides Yahtzee now. And there was an open letter on their site, and basically saying, look, we don't know if we're going to be around. We're probably going to shut down eventually. So that's another site that's going to go away. And it's just, the changing nature of internet community. So I don't know if in chat you guys want to leave a comment or leave a comment on this article, but I do want to know what communities you guys currently frequent, which obviously is going to be Reddit and Discord. But more importantly, I want to know what sites and forums and communities you guys used to frequent. Like, where is our shared past? Like, what are some big sites that you went to in the past that you felt connected to? And I'm sure, tomorrow when I read the comments, I'm going to be jogged, of memories of the ones I forgot.
Sure. Or if you use Discord a lot too, like what Discord channels do you follow? What Discord channels do you still use? And where are you active in?
Yeah,
there's a lot of Discord channels out there that are public from Reddit and other communities, so it'd be kind of cool to hear that.
And one final note, guys, before I move on. I know this is but Verizon has announced they're shutting down AOL Instant Messenger. And
I'm surprised it was still around.
I'm surprised. I don't know if you guys know this, but Verizon owns AOL now. That's one. And two, they're shutting down AIM after 20 years. And Omar and I, the first tool we used to talk to people on the internet was AOL Instant Messenger, right? I made friends, and I kept in touch with so many people that I met online through AOL Instant Messenger as like a preteen and my teen years. So it is. I haven't used it in I haven't used it in 15 years, but it's sad to see it go.
Rest in pepperoni, AOL Instant Messenger.
Indeed. All right. Well, nostalgia. Let's reminisce, and then we can talk about some actual game news.
All right, let's talk about some actual game news and some fun topics. One thing I want to talk about right now is actually some big stuff for Final Fantasy 14 just happened, and it kind of fits in with our discussion from maybe like 2-3 weeks ago about aspirational content and new content in games. So right now, I've been watching quite a bit of this actually. Right now, Final Fantasy 4.1 actually just dropped, which is the latest update to the game. It introduced something called the Unending Coil of Bahamut, the latest difficult content in the game. There's a Twitch channel right now. I just linked. Maybe you can just show some of that off. This guy's been basically raiding nonstop Unending Coil since it launched last night. The service came live at 3 a.m. last night, and this guy's been streaming nonstop for about 11 hours now. Actually, 13 hours now. playing the new content. And we talked a lot about difficult content and difficulty and casuals and MMORPGs. And here's an update tailored towards a more hardcore audience. You know, again, this is tailored towards the 1% of players, or perhaps even less than that. And in this, it basically adds a new fight to the game. It's a 3-stage fight. You fight Twintania, then you fight Nail, basically another dragon-looking dude, and then you're gonna fight the final boss at the end of this. And you have to defeat all 3 bosses at once, like one after the other. So if you watch this guy, he's gonna be wiping left and right. He's been wiping a lot. Him and his group have been doing this for 13 hours, and he still can't consistently beat the first fight every single time with his group. And the problem in this fight is, if you die on the second fight, you get reset back to the first fight. If you die in the third fight, you get reset back to the first fight as well. So it makes practicing the second and third fight incredibly, incredibly difficult.
I see.
In fact, this guy, again, I don't think anyone to date, as right now, as this podcast, has cleared the second phase, the second fight here. So I've been watching this guy on and off all day, and I don't think he's gotten to Nail, but he's never cleared it from what I've seen.
Is he playing? Well, is this? Are these new bosses, or are these just hard mode of existing bosses?
These are existing bosses with new mechanics. This is from the original Coil of Bahamut series from like years ago.
Okay, so new mechanics.
I've done Twintania as well. My friend, I ran through it like after it already came out. But again, it's scaled up to level 70 and being very, very difficult. So I thought it was interesting.
He has to relearn different mechanics, right? It's not the same mechanics from the previous fight.
It's not the same mechanics. Okay. So everyone's got to relearn these mechanics. Basically, 3 boss fights in a row, and they're all very difficult. And the actual mechanics of the fight are pretty interesting, because if you watch the video, you'll see the boss dies pretty quick. If you see Twintania's HP bars in the boss, they go very quick. He's got 5 million HP. He just pulls the fight, and within like less than 30 seconds, the boss is 75% HP already. So it's a very mechanical fight where you have to actually play well, play smart to get through it. It's not like a very dragged out bullshit fight where it just takes forever, like certain fights in the game do. So the mechanics are really cool. But more importantly, I think content like this, even though so few people can actually do this content, if you look on twitch.tv, you will see that more people are watching Final Fantasy 14 now than like ever before. Like Final Fantasy 14 is not a very streamable game. It doesn't get very many viewers. It never gets more than 1,000 viewers from FC. Maybe like 500 viewers, right, on a normal day. And there's over 10,000 people now watching Final Fantasy 14. Everyone's trying out the new content. The casuals will never get to do this. This is locked away from 95% of the community because you have to clear Omega 4 to get there. I haven't cleared Omega 4 yet. I'm actually just started working on it. I'm making progress. Almost done with that one. But you can't even access it if you're a casual. But I think adding content like this is great for the community. And it's great for casuals too, because it gives people something that's like, it's great for even the wannabe hardcore people. There's a lot of people that will try clearing this that will never be able to do it. But it's great for them, because I think Final Fantasy 14, as well as World of Warcraft, as well as any MMORPG with a late game rating scene, they have this weird problem. People log in during resets. So every week you can run each raid once and get 1 reward from each raid. So on Gilgamesh, which is the most popular server, or second most popular server in the game, people log in on Tuesday, which is the reset day. They finish all their raids in a matter of an hour, right? And then they log off. And then they don't play again until next week. That's literally the cycle for any MMORPG once you reach late game rating.
Yeah. And that's why I think I showed you that video about how I think the theme park model is so bad for MMOs. Whether it's WoW or Final Fantasy, I prefer the open sandbox mode, even if it's like something like Black Desert.
They're not mutually exclusive. You can have sandbox elements in the theme park game, or I think Final Fantasy has a lot of stuff you can do beyond just the gear progression. Like this, you can have the world, you can have the crafting, the living, breathing world beyond the theme park. I think you can combine the two.
Sure, I'm still waiting for my holy grail of like a single server MMO with no instances, like so world bosses, but everyone like 1,000 guys can show up and fight. That'd be epic. But I don't think the technology is not there yet,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I was talking to a friend about this too, because he's basically finished all the content Final Fantasy 14. Talked to him on Discord the other night actually, and he tells me basically, I log on Final Fantasy 14. There's nothing for me to do. After I do all my raids, like I want a reason to keep playing. He helped me last night with trying to do Omega 4. He was a healer for us, and he helped me out. And after that, he just dipped out. Like there's nothing for him to do in Final Fantasy 14 anymore. But when this patch dropped, he's like, holy shit, I can actually work on something. There's a reason for me to log in every day and try practicing this fight. And it's awesome because these people, even if it's like 5-10% of the community, like that's still a pretty decent chunk of a number. Like 10% of the community that wants to do raids. I think the clear rates in FF14 for high-end raids are like 5 to 10%, which is still pretty high. Which is, again, you can argue that's not hardcore enough, but whatever. 10% of the community that doesn't log in all the time, like it really hurts the community. So it gives these people a reason to come back, and I think that's great. And hopefully this takes a long time to clear, given the way, right now I think he's on phase 2 right now. Yeah, he's on phase 2 right now. Let's see how far he gets in the video, but it's always interesting to see aspirational content. And it doesn't, okay, I hate to go on a rant about this too, but it doesn't always have to be combat related, because we all know raids are not for everyone and you have to include more people. I get that. But which is why I posed the question a few weeks ago, why can't there be like a goddamn vase in World of Warcraft, in Final Fantasy 14, or some aesthetic, cosmetic item in World of Warcraft that just costs like a shit ton of money? Like a vase for your house decoration that costs like 500 million gil, 1 billion gil. Something for players to work towards either as a group or alone. Just give stuff in the game that you can, like, nobody's accomplished yet. There's always got to be that one thing, whether it's a crafting goal, whether it's accumulating money, whether it's a combat role, whether it's a jump quest. Make a really hard jump puzzle. Like, why not? Let people struggle with it for like 20 hours. Like, well, they have jump quests in the game that anyone can solve them in like an hour. Why not add a crazy one?
I'd argue that like a large house in that game, which costs what, like 200 million gil or more?
Only on the big servers. If you on a small server, you can get over 50 million where there's plots available.
Okay, even 50 million. I think that's to most people. Like, I'm talking about 99.99% of players. 50 mil for a large house is like the end game.
Anyone can get a small house. Anyone can get a small house easily. Any casual can get a small house, like with no problem.
But what about a large house?
3 million or so. But a large house is a bit harder. But I think anyone it's too doable to be considered aspirational. Too doable. And plus, you can share it. You can pool your money with friends and buy as a guild.
Well, a guild house is separate. I'm talking about an individual house. You can have both, right? You can have a guild house.
Yes, you can have a guild house and an individual house.
I think that is the economic goal. Most people have.
No, so many people can have 50 million. They save up for it. It's not aspirational enough. And why not add more? It doesn't. Why not add a decoration for your house? You can put like wallpapers and stuff. Why not put one for sale that costs 500 million? I'd be like, what does it cost you? Just have that there for the tryhards and like wave your dick around. I mean, don't tell me, oh, you can't take away the designers from some other part of the game. It's a fucking cosmetic. It's gonna take
I'm not against it, but it's not like I think what you're saying already exists for 99% percent of players.
No, because my argument is like, if you played Harvest Moon, I know you have, but like for anyone that played Harvest Moon out there, or Animal Crossing, for example, both good examples, right? Like, some of the coolest parts of Harvest Moon was upgrading your house. Like, you get a bigger house, and it was kind of cool. Like, it didn't really do that much, though. In Harvest Moon, you had to have the biggest house to like have a baby or something in that game. But like, it was cool to save up money for that goal. And once you got the biggest house, it was kind of lame. Like, there's nothing else to do. Like, why not just add like more tiers? Where it just becomes like exponentially more difficult.
Somebody in chat had a really interesting point. So, if you recall, back in WoW, there was only one Grand Marshal or Warlord per server, per side, right? So what about instead of a vase that anyone can buy, assuming they get 500 million gil or whatever, why don't you do server limited, either items or goals? So, for example, imagine like a castle or something, and you got to be one player can be the king of it at a time, and it's like a monthly election or a guild battle that determines the winner. At least then it's always a possibility of it rotating, or you holding it, and there's only one per server. So like,
well, there are like rewards right now for PvP in Final Fantasy 14, where the people that reach a certain rank get like these really rare, like really cool cosmetics, right? But the problem with that is nobody takes it seriously, and the only people that end up getting it are just win traders. People queue up and trade wins. It's so dumb, and it's not done well at all. So that's the reason I think you can have stuff like that are achievement based, but it's got to be unabusable, because the only people worried about getting the PvP gear, the PvP cosmetics are just people that are win trading.
I'm guessing PvP is also queued in instance.
Yes.
Okay.
And PvP is not a big part of Final Fantasy 14 for sure. But yeah, I'm watching this fight. It's cool that these people that are tryhard, these guilds, these people that are well known in the community, they've been doing this for 13 hours and they're not making no one's got to the third phase yet. Let alone the whole thing. Like, people, again, it's taking 13 hours of nonstop play to get to the second fight, and decently. Not even every time. They won't get there every time. But then they've never even beaten the second fight yet, and then they got to learn the third fight. And if they mess with the third fight, they go back to the beginning. It just seems so cool that there's content out there right now that no one else has done. There's something now that even if I'll never clear this content, or maybe there's even more content later, it's in the back of my mind, like, as I make progress on my character to get stronger, like, maybe one day I can do this content. Once I get my 345 weapon, once I get my 340 gear and everything, maybe I can challenge this content later too. It gives me something to work towards. And it's a really cool feeling that makes me want to play a game a lot more, even if I'm not going to clear this content myself.
I think we have different philosophies then on MMORPGs, which is fine. Like, for me, I never want to play the game like on rails like that. So when I played Ultima Online, whatever, I never thought of killing like the dungeon boss. That was never my goal, right?
Yeah.
I just want to kind of do my own thing, have my own experiences, PvP, talk to people, trade, whatever. So I don't know. To me, like just killing this one boss is not like a substitute for having a game with meaning. First of all, I'm at an age now where I don't want to like play any old game, right? If it's like an instance game like this, like I'm not even interested. It's got to be an open world. It's got to be either cross server or like one big server or something. That's very important to me now.
I mean, I see the benefits of that as well, but I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I mean, you can have this content in a game where you have emergent gameplay and other shit you can do as well. Like, you can have the instance content for the people that want it and something to work towards, and also have that. Because again, a game like Ultima Online, you have to admit though, it was very niche. And again, one of the reasons Ultima was popular was because it was really the only game. Like, if you wanted to play an MMORPG, this concept, right? A lot of people played Ultima Online that didn't want a PvP, that didn't want to do all the things you loved about Ultima Online. They just wanted to play for that PvE grind and this experience. Like, you and me both had a very specific taste, and the reasons we liked Ultima was different from the reason other people liked it. And most people played it, and most people they switched to EverQuest when they could because it was more Care Bear and more casual for them. So I think you can have a game that has bits of both. Why can't you have Ultima Online in a game like World of Warcraft or in a game like Final Fantasy 14, where people that want to do the theme park experience can do it? Again, this is still a game we've never seen yet, obviously, and it would obviously involve a tremendous amount of work. But it'd be very cool to see something like this exist. Like, if a game like BDO, for example, they do the sandbox stuff really well. If it had some theme park elements too, which I don't think it's that hard to add, even if they have to add it like in a weird instance way.
No, I'm against that. No.
Why?
At that point, I don't know. It just you can't. That's like saying, well, what if like my Pong, when I load up Pong, if I push Q, Solitaire comes up. It's just,
no.
It's a different game at that point. Like, I don't know.
People that play BDO, some of them, I'm sure there's an overlap between that play WoW or Final Fantasy 14 as well. Two other well-known MMORPGs. Like, a subset of those players play both games, and it'd be cool to be able to have this somewhat same experience, in BDO.
If they unlimited resources, yes, but in the real world, that adding that means that they're not putting those resources.
They've been adding PvE content as well. They've been adding more of that in BDO, if I remember correctly.
Well, yeah, adding the zones
updates.
Okay, yeah. But so some instance raid would take away from that, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I just don't think the two concepts are mutually exclusive, personally. And look, again, why don't we have a jump quest in Final Fantasy 14 or World of Warcraft or something that's just very difficult, like something that's crazy difficult? Like, just let people struggle with it for a while. Like, it gives people something to do. Like, sometimes I want to play. I want to go on FF14 and just turn my brain off and do something, right? If I'm doing this stupid jump quest, and after I do it, I'm done with it, right? It only takes like an hour to figure it out, or a lot less usually. You can do a jump quest very easily in that game. Like, give me something to work towards. It doesn't have to be PvP. It doesn't have to be raid bosses. Give me something in the game that I can do. And MMORPGs have to be the ultimate outlet for this, because ideally, like, MMORPGs kind of thrive on this social setting as well. It wants you to log in and stay logged in because it makes the world feel full. People talk when they're in the game. It's a nice, they want you to be in the game, and they need to give more reasons to stay logged in and do stuff. Whether it's a jump quest, whether it's a new form of crafting progression, some kind of challenge. Doesn't have to be PvP, doesn't have to be combat. It can be exploration, something else in the game that has to keep you logged in. MMORPGs have to be more than just the gameplay. Is ultimately what I've stressed, and I've been stressing this for a while.
I mean, yes, I would definitely agree with that.
You want to play gameplay, go play a MOBA. You want to play gameplay, go play an ARPG. Okay, MMORPGs are not going to win out on gameplay compared to other games. It's not going to happen because MMORPGs have all this other shit going on too. You can't have this world, you can't have this crafting, all this shit, and expect it to be perfect. The benefit of MMORPG is it's a living world. It has all this stuff, and you have to have. And every game kind of focuses on like a handful of things, but I feel like there's so many obvious things companies are fucking up, and I insist that putting a vase or some item in the game, it doesn't take anything away from the game, and it would just add like some more aspirational shit for people to do. They need to hire me as a consultant.
Here's what I think. You're a bad consultant. I got a better consulting idea. Imagine an item in Final Fantasy. Okay, it costs a lot of money, or it's a rare drop, right? Like a boss drop. It's like a little a console, like a Moogle or whatever, like a toy. When you activate it, you get to play Final Fantasy 1 right there in game.
That'd be pretty cool.
It like launches Final Fantasy 1 like a little like a window inside your screen.
Yeah, why don't they have that?
That'd be cool. And you can collect 1, 2, 3, 4. You know,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be something to collect in the game. You can make it very difficult to get as well. Like people want to collect things, you know, Animal Crossing. You know, when you played Animal Crossing on GameCube or the newer versions, I only played the GameCube version myself, but like we collected cool rare shit and you put it in your house, right, to show off to other people. And like it was basically a single player game, so you like take a picture or something and show it to your friends, like, oh shit, I got this item in my house, it looks badass, right? People want to do that. People want that in FF14. Give them a chance to collect these really rare, and because Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3 with these old school games, they cost money on Steam right now, and they want to monetize it. Like make it really rare in game, some way to grind it. It'll keep people in the game. It'll give people something to work towards. Again, you can do that without raid content as well, because I do agree with you that this kind of content we're seeing in the background right now, this is not for everyone, and this is not what they should focus on entirely as well. And I've been saying for the longest time, I enjoy this content, but I don't think this should be the main focus, because I'm not playing an MMORPG strictly for the combat. I'm playing it for everything else. Some progression all around.
Well,
Chaos makes a good point. That's why Warframe is doing so well. Basically, it's an amazing game for collectors. You know, that's why there's so much grind, because you collect all the different Warframes, all different mods, and that's people love collecting shit. That's like, and MMORPG should focus on that. People want to collect shit, and I think one of the reasons actually that Final Fantasy 14 is so successful is because of its job system. You can have every character class maxed out on one character, right? One character. People like collecting. My buddy Canaris, he's like level 60 or 70 on almost every single caster in the game. Why? Because he wants to collect everything on his character. He wants to be the, you know, have all these options. It's a form of collection. If you have alt, it's not the same thing. Making an alt with every character is not the same. Having one character with all the class, they're so smart, dude. They're so smart because they give you a title. If you max out all the caster classes, you become a god of magic, right? It's a title you get, right? It doesn't mean shit, but it makes you want to do it. And obviously, Canaris knows, and it doesn't like give him anything for it, right? But like, it's fun. Collecting things in MMORPGs are fun. We played Animal Crossing. We collect all the shit. Collecting stuff in online games is one of the reasons to play online games. It's such a basic concept. Like, give us more shit to collect and different scales of difficulty, and make it so I can't have everything. That's the key part. Don't give your players everything they want. And I feel like too many games allow everyone to get everything. At no point should I feel like, oh shit, why should I log into Final Fantasy? I have everything I want. And I felt that way. Like, once you clear all the raids, you're gonna feel that way. Until this recent patch came out. Like, a lot of people already have the house they want. They have they have their classes that they want to play maxed out, and they've completed all the content. Why even log in? Look, okay. You log in to do your resets and you're done. Okay,
one, I got two I want to call them complaints, but 2 points about what you just said. One, okay. How long? The problem with the theme park ramp up like this is that you can never actually keep up with the players. Like you said,
yes,
this guy,
you can. That's bullshit. They make it too easy. That's why
this guy's been going for 13 hours, right?
Yeah.
Do you think by next week podcast, this time next week, it's gonna be cleared? I think so.
I think so too, probably.
Okay, there you go. Now now he's gotta wait another 3 years or 2 years or whatever, right?
Probably. But
okay.
That's why you
can't do this.
Like, here's why. I'm not saying this is the ultimate form of content that he's added, right? They could have made this much more difficult as well. I mean, have something in the game that's so difficult. Add 3 more bosses. There you go. Problem solved. Then it'll take another like few months to do. It's doable. You know.
At that point, it just feels like cheesy to make it like too
no. But why is it? But having that in the game, and you can say it feels cheesy, just don't do it then. Like it's not like you're losing anything, because like either would you rather have that content or not have that content? Of course you rather. And believe me, he would want that content more. Look, believe me, when this guy clears this, right? When Mr. Redbeard over here Gingerbeard here clears this content, right? He's gonna jump out of his chair, scream, and be happy, right? But guess what? After that, what's he gonna do next? He's done.
Okay, but here's what I'm trying to say then. Imagine. Okay, hold on. Imagine. You're Square Enix, right? I'm Square Enix. I just go in. I open the file editor. I just double all the stats for these current bosses. I could do that.
It has to be possible. It has to be possible.
Well, no, fine, not double, but whatever. To a point where you need the best gear, everything one shots, no matter what. If anything hits you, you're dead.
No, what you're trying to say is you have to have perfect mechanics to beat it. You have to mitigate everything and do everything perfectly.
And you have to have all the best buffs, all the best gear, best in software, everything. Otherwise, you can't kill in time because of meter. You drink all the rare potions you got to drink for the buffs. I know in WoW raids they had that. I'm not sure how it works in this, but all the rare buffs.
I would tell you that would be a good addition to the game. Have one fight. I'm not saying you should have every fight like that. I'm saying have one fight like that. Have one fight that nobody in the game has cleared. They can all work.
I think.
The thing is, that gets progressively easier as new content gets added. When they add new raid gear, that content naturally becomes easier. It may be near impossible at first, but as long as it's not impossible, it becomes easier as better gear comes out.
I think it's impossible for developers with this model to keep up. That's why the best games like League, Dota, Sandbox, MMORPGs, the content is between players, right? That way it's infinite because people can create rivalries and stuff like EVE Online.
If Square Enix hires me as a consultant for one day, I can add 10 things to that players would not be able to do for years. Ready? Just add those goddamn vases.
They're not going to do it then. They're not going to like
Wait. Add some vases. Add some house decorations that cost like crazy amounts of money. Ready? Add a jump quest to the game that requires precision jumping that takes an hour to do. Precision jumping.
Or what if they fix the PvP, make it and then use the open world as PvP contested territories, and people can make their own factions.
That's a whole reshape of the game. That's not gonna. Final Fantasy XIV is not a PvP game.
Well, I'm just saying, like this. I'd rather they do that stuff than just make a golden vase and say, "Ha, look, here's new content." Like
but do all the shit they're doing. That doesn't take away from what they're doing already. This is like a project that you do in a week, and you can implement my 10 ideas in a week, and then they go back to what they're.
Wait, hold on.
Boom, done.
Clearly, reusing these 3 bosses and making them harder was a big ordeal for them. It was a big content drop, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's clearly not as easy as you make it out to be. I mean, like,
forget the boss mechanics. I agree that part requires at least some time to figure out. But adding a vase that costs a shit ton of money, some new cosmetics.
I don't think that's gonna add much to the game as much as you think.
Like, but why isn't it there? It just feels like so obvious.
It is there.
It's something that they need to have.
500 million gil house on Gilgamesh.
It's 50 mil on every house. You can't even go to Gilgamesh anymore.
How much? Hold up. You didn't answer my question, by the way. How much is a house? The largest house on Gilgamesh.
Well, here's the thing. The problem is that's being fixed too.
I like how he's not answering the question, guys.
Today, the market price of the biggest house. It depends on what location it is, by the way.
The nicest location.
But it becomes a real estate thing. Like you have to get in Manhattan or here. Like it's literally in the same zone, but like if it's 2 houses over, it costs even more.
Amar,
the best spot costs 300 million.
Okay, thank you. Okay, for most people, that is your golden vase right there. Okay.
But the problem is that golden vase is already fixed. You know why? Next patch, 4.2, they're adding more housing districts, so they're adding more instances of the housing. So housing price will plummet to the bottom of probably if it goes to the bottom, it'll be 50 million. And that's not the aspirational content then. All right, well, it becomes too easy.
I think we should move on. We can talk about this more in the post game or between ourselves after the podcast. Mm-hmm. But so enough Final Fantasy. I want to talk about a game that you guys are going to see in 2018. All right, it's a game you saw before, but now it's coming back, boys. Bless Online, it's happening.
Bless, boys. God bless.
I actually had lost the faith.
But now that you see it on Steam, the faith is back. You see the Steam store page, you know what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm. It looks like they're going to self-publish, right? Neowiz through Steam rather than working through Aria, which I think is a good idea. I don't know why Aria is just a mess. I don't know why they would go through that. But I am very happy to see that it is actually going to be a thing. The page is up, coming soon, 2018. We don't know when. It could be early. It could be late 2018. No clue yet. But
do you know what saved Neowiz?
What saved them?
Black Squad. That game is unusually popular. It's an FPS game, and once that game took off on Steam, they got some more moolah to throw on Bless. You know, that's their project they've been working on forever.
I don't know.
So maybe that's why we're hearing about it.
Do you guys know how much Bless cost Neowiz to get to the current point that it's at?
Lots. I put on our list of most expensive MMOs ever developed.
It was a huge undertaking. Let me find the exact number for you boys right here.
It was like over 60 million, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm very close to finding it here. Okay, Blessed cost 61 million, and again, the number has probably gone up since then because they did this is that number I gave you is before the current like combat revamp and like the whole fixing the game.
How much was it? What's the number at?
61 million.
That's crazy. All of Neowiz games is worth $216 million, and they spent like 67 million on that one game. As a percent of the value of the whole company. That's insane. Dude, time to invest in Neowiz games, huh? Time to do a financial look for this bad boy.
You know what I didn't get about this? I actually like it's so funny. Am I this out of touch with like reality, like the gaming scene now? Like of all the games we played right this year, or I guess last year, I thought Blast was one of the even with its buggy state, right, which I complained about. I thought it was one of the better games, right, that I played.
I agree.
And yet
it was definitely one of the better games.
And yet it got canceled in the West. The Russian server shut down. It's doing terribly in Korea. There's one server left, and I don't know. There's an open beta going on in Japan. I'm not sure how that's doing. But the game is not doing well. And I thought it was actually pretty good compared to a lot of the trash I played. That apparently is still around. There's a lot of trash still floating around. But this game, the one I like, got shut down. Look at that.
No, I'll tell you why. It wasn't the game. It got shut down because it was unoptimized hot shit. It was a hot steaming pile of unoptimized nonsense. Look, we have a GTX 1080, top tier i7 CPUs, and we couldn't play this game without frame rate drops after a couple hours. Like, we play for an hour and then your frame rate is shit. It's shit from the beginning and it gets even shittier later on. There was something about the engine, the way they coded the game. It was an unoptimized hot mess. There was all these weird tweaks to the game. You can change your .ini file, which no one's going to do besides us, right? We did all that shit and it was still a hot mess and it only helped a little bit. And that was my biggest concern with the game. I mean, it's an ambitious title. It's these giant open world zones. You can see everything in the distance. Flying felt badass in this game. There's potential here, but you cannot release a game that's unoptimized. It just doesn't work. People don't want to put up with that shit. It's the most frustrating thing in the world to play a game and it's just laggy and buggy and it just stutters. Like, people are gonna Alt F4 so quick. It was in no state to release, but they released it. It was an open. That is the alpha material. You catch this shit and fix it. Either you fix it or you don't release it. You gain nothing by releasing a game. Like, honestly, even if it comes out now, it really did hurt their brand and their game because of the previous unoptimized, laggy, shitty experience we had before. I thought the game was fun too, and those dungeons were challenging and interesting.
I was gonna mention the dungeons. I remember doing those dungeons. It took us a while to do them. It was fun, and these were early game dungeons. You know, so many games today, probably Final Fantasy included, the early dungeons are just nothing. They're just nothing burgers. You just
are absolute brain dead nothing burgers. I hate that too because, man, I complain to my friends all the time with Final Fantasy 14. Like, you don't really play Final Fantasy 14 until endgame, and I hate saying that because every game feels that way. It's just the story content, the dungeons are brain dead easy, and it's not just you can't just make the argument that it's easy because we're good at games. No, it's brain dead easy if you're not good. If you don't know anything about video games, you play that content, you'll be fine. It's not made to be difficult. But you play Bless, and the dungeons, like, you don't have to do the dungeons. You can just grind until you're like higher level, right, and then do them easily. But if you do the dungeons at the appropriate level, it's like, holy shit, you have to work towards it. It felt like I felt good clearing a dungeon in Bless. Like, holy shit, we did it, boys. We did it after like 10 wipes. It felt great the way the pacing worked in that game. Like, some very small details about Bless made me feel like really excited to play that game. And normally when you play an MMORPG, you don't get excited until like late game and you start accomplishing things late game. No, in Bless, you got excited that you got shit done in Bless like early on, and that's a feeling that you don't feel in other games. So I really hope that they fixed optimizations, because just re-releasing it on Steam without fixing the core problems are not gonna, it's still gonna be pretty bad if you don't fix it.
Here's the big problem with Bless, and it's so sad that they put so much money into it, and the fact I like the game, it's made on Unreal 3. Okay.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Unreal 4 has been out for years now. What is their excuse? Like, why can't they just port it over? And you know what's an even bigger crime? There's actually a new game announced. Where I watched your
Project W, baby.
Yeah, I watched your news video, and it mentioned this, and it's so funny to me that a game coming out in 2017 is going to be using Unreal 3.
And the thing about that game too is, it's not like they showed off trailers already. We know nothing about W. This is like a game they announced last year, right? They announced the game last year at development. They're going to reveal it at G-Star 2017, which is this November, mid-November or so. And then, what the fuck? Why would you develop it on Unreal Engine 3? Unreal Engine 4 has been out for a long time already. Like, one of the reasons I imagine Bless is so unoptimized is because it's built on an older engine now. Like, there's better technology. And these aren't like indie studios. Like, Bluehole, that's making Project W, is probably over $1 billion company now because of the success of PUBG. They have Terra and PUBG. So it's insane that they're doing this on Unreal Engine 3. Hopefully, like, ultimately, from the consumer facing perspective, if it runs fine, ultimately whatever engine's on, it doesn't really matter, right?
It does. It does matter. It does.
You think
matter.
so?
Yes. Unless they like gut it from like head to toe, it's gonna. Here's the thing, this game is gonna feel like a clunky Korean garbage game. Okay. Because
you think so?
Look, here's the thing. There's a lot of games I liked in the past, right? Like Ultima Online, EverQuest, but those games had a lot of flaws. Like today, you wouldn't play those. You wouldn't make them the way you make them back then, because back then movement was not fluid because we just didn't have the technology, I guess, right? But there's no way this game is gonna feel like a 2017 game in terms of the fluidity, the UI. Just even I bet like even like moving icons around, like dropping things in your inventory is gonna feel like that stutter because you can't get past that if you use this old client or engine.
Real talk. You can tell when you first launch an MMORPG or any online game, really, when you first hit that W key to move, right? Like, if movement feels good, it's such a good sign for a game. Like in WoW, it feels buttery smooth. Or a game like Overwatch, like before you even start playing with the mechanics and balance and other things of the game, just movement and shooting feels nice. So like if they, I can usually tell in the first 5 minutes of a game if like this game is gonna be good or not. With Bless, you can tell in the first 5 minutes this shit was unoptimized as hell. All right, that was my problem with Bless. The core game is good, but they got to fix the bullshit optimizations. And again, somebody mentioned that Lost Ark is on Unreal 3, and it felt immaculate in Mean Season's word. So it's not solely the engine. I'm sure there's a lot of other.
I think that's because it's a totally different game. Lost Ark is more like this 2D, 2.5D, like
isometric game.
Where you're kind of like glued to the ground. You know what I'm saying? It's like up this isometric. I think that's easier to do. I just don't think this is gonna. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and then I'll be the first to admit it here. If it feels fine, Project W, but I am not hopeful.
But Bless again is scheduled for 2018. They didn't say when in 2018, but I think we'll hear more about it in probably next few conventions. Hopefully, it's the first half of 2018. Because if they say 2018, it could mean like the end of 2018, and that feels like almost like forever away. But just seeing the game on the Steam store page definitely inspires confidence that it's going to happen. So that's good news for Bless. Unfortunately, the next one we got to hear about is Maple Story 2. I am still itching for Maple Story 2 in the West. Do you think there's still hope for that one?
I think with how bad Hyper Universe is doing, probably not.
Oh my God, don't get me started on Hyper Universe. I ranted so hard about the bullshit decisions they made in early access about the bots AI matches. But right now, I mean, they did a free weekend, right? That ended on Monday. But before that free weekend, do you know how many people were online in Hyper Universe?
I actually have the Steam page open right now. Apparently, there's nobody online.
Big fat goose egg, 0.
Zilch.
Okay, but if you go to like one month and you look at it before the free weekend or 7 days even, it had like in the mornings 7 players online, and it peaked at like 20 or so. That is atrocious. And the reason for that is because the game costs money. Why are you making this early access MOBA cost money? First of all, it's a fucking MOBA. Look, I get that you want to make money off it, but like if you have an MMORPG or something, or maybe even a shooter, you can charge money for it, right? But like a MOBA, of all things that cost money, a MOBA. You have League and Dota and HOTS and Smite, mainly League and Dota, which are dominating the scene, and they're free to play. You can't charge money for a MOBA, number one. Two, the AI matches were bullshit.
Hold up. The excuse that it's an alpha or whatever is no excuse. I played Dota in beta, right? Because Dota was free. Yeah. In fact, games should be free in beta and cost money. We live in this upside down world now where it's an alpha. That's why it costs money. Like that's the complete opposite.
That is upside down. I agree. That's bullshit.
If you're testing the game, they should be paying you, or it should be free at the least. So it's just bullshit. Don't buy.
I agree. It's absolute bullshit. And they really shot them. I don't know. They really. They just shouldn't release the game until it was ready and just launch it, boom, good to go, and make it free to play from the get-go.
Is Cliffy B consulting for Hyper Universe? That's a good line.
He shit on his own game. Now he's gonna shit on Hyper Universe. But yeah, it costs money. No one's playing it. The core game isn't bad, but like you have to go through like hours of bot matches to play real. Another unbelievably dumb decision that someone should get fired over at Nexon. I actually went out of my way to bitch on the Hyper Universe. I let the negative Steam review for Hyper Universe for that because of the bullshit AI matches. And I commented on one of their news posts on Steam, bitching them out. Okay, I never do that. They got me so frustrated with their game because I wanted to succeed. Like they got me so frustrated, I actually left these negative reviews for Hyper Universe over that, and it was worth it. Fuck that decision.
Amen.
But rip Hyper Universe for now, though.
Go back to community real quick. Does anyone out there use the Steam community features? Like I use Steam to play games. I don't really post reviews. Sometimes I'll browse through other people's reviews. But I don't use like I know they have forums for every game. They have news posts on there. You can leave comments and stuff. I never use. I don't do any of that stuff. There's even like groups. Like you can have groups in Steam. I never really.
Never.
Yeah. So
never.
Yeah.
Steam tried a lot to like have this like social community built, like a Facebook kind of community built in with their friends list, with the groups, with the comments. But it's very Web 1.0 or like I don't know. I'm never going to use Steam for their social features. I'm going to use Discord for that because it's just better. Hyper Universe is donezo though for now. I mean, they did a weekend where if you got it was free for the weekend. Anyone 7 or 8 got to keep permanent access to early access for free. But again, it's stupid. Just make it free to play in early access because the people that want to play the game that bought the game, right? They just feel like idiots because they can't even play the game because nobody else is online. So make it free for everyone else and get people online, get people playing, and maybe there's hope for it. But I don't know. I think it's donezo.
Speaking of a game that is not donezo, did you hear about this somewhere? PUBG recently passed League of Legends in the South Korean PC LAN cafe scene. What do you think of that?
I think PUBG is pretty unbelievable how popular that game is, and it's I'm not surprised, but I don't think it's gonna necessarily dethrone League. I've said it though that this is one of the few games that has potential to dethrone League as the biggest PC game in the world. This is like the only PC game that has potential for this. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they can maintain that.
Since that article went up, League has taken the lead again. So
remember, Overwatch had this as well. Remember,
yeah,
Overwatch overtook League several times and even held that for a couple of weeks. But then, in the end of the day, people go back to League, and I think it's still going to be the case between League and PUBG. But PUBG is still going to be unbelievably big. But I don't think it's going to be the League killer. And speaking about of PUBG actually, because we talk about how big that game is with about 2.2 million concurrent users peak. There's a game that's a shooter that's quite a bit bigger than PUBG. It's good old CrossFire.
Oh,
it's an unbelievably successful game, and we don't really talk about this game a lot because it's really big in China. But I put up a news article just this last week called Crossfire eSports Tournament Announced. Crossfire is more popular than you think. And I compare it to PUBG because according to the developer, Smilegate, they put in their press release that the Crossfire gets over 8 million concurrent players. And that's 4 times bigger than PUBG. 4 times. Is that insane? That Crossfire is 4 times the player base?
And I remember you actually said another line in your news video. You said that Crossfire alone has more concurrent players than everything on Steam combined.
Count everyone playing any game on Steam. Literally any game on Steam, if they're on a game, Crossfire has more people online.
That is crazy.
And it's because of China. And what's more bizarre, absolutely bizarre, that Crossfire has over 650 million registered users worldwide. That means about 8% of the world is registered to Crossfire. Holy fuck. Guys, of this chat, 10% of you or 8% of you are statistically registered to Crossfire. I know I am because I did a video for it. I played it a few times. And there's an esports tournament going on for this game. This background video is for the 2016 one. And it's a worldwide event. You have like Western teams, Korean teams, Chinese teams, and there's casters and everything. But this is an area of esports I know nothing about. Like this is a real production. Like there's something happening here. There's these pro teams playing. This is commentary, but it's an area of the game I don't follow at all. People say Crossfire is a terrible game. Yeah, I'm not a fan. It just feels like a janky. You want to play like a good shooter, you play Counter-Strike. You want to play a janky Counter-Strike, you play Crossfire. But for some reason, janky Counter-Strike is mega popular in China.
You know what I wonder? In the tournaments, can you use the cash shop items? That would be amazing.
Obviously, come on. They got to make some money somehow.
Probably, actually. I'm sure they have the best bullets, the best guns for the tournament.
I forgot. You said you can pay for premium bullets in this game. Is that real?
I mean, it's true in World of Tanks, so it's definitely true in this game.
I would be surprised. It'd be pretty hilarious paying for premium bullets, which also kind of brings me to another fun discussion maybe we can have because somebody mentioned in our Discord chat earlier today about mobile games and like the pay-to-win element of mobile games and like we're to blame for supporting this and defending this mobile games. Like, are we to blame for the rise? Are we to blame for the rise of pay-to-win? Like, is the average gamer responsible?
No, I don't think so. I think what happened is our expectations grew faster than the price of games. So people say like, back in the good old days, we didn't have, DLC, microtransactions and all this, But the problem is back then games were so short. Like I remember paying $50 for a Super Nintendo game and beating it that same day. Like, I'd go home, play it, 8 hours. I'm just done. I'm done with the game. That's it. It's a single player game. There's something else. I guess I could play it again and collect everything. But basically, the hours of content in the game was way lower back then. So today, games have so much. There's people still playing like Skyrim and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. There's still people playing Grand Theft Auto 5. So yeah, with all the hundreds, thousands of hours of content, they want more money from you. So it's fine.
Actually, what's remarkable too about I feel like a lot of people miss a big part of this story when they talk about like what you got back then versus what you get today. Like when the first video game we played was Super Mario World, and that game came out in 1990, all right, for the SNES, and it cost $60, right?
50. Do
you know how much? They cost about $50 to $60. That money in today's dollars, inflation adjusted, is $116. Yeah. And the price of games has not increased much. a game is like $60 still. Like a full price game is $60, and adjust for inflation, that's way more. So if you buy a $60 game and you have to spend like an extra $60 on DLC between season pass, DLC, microtransactions, and that's what it is. Like the average person doesn't spend that much money on microtransactions, right? A couple of whales spend shit tons of money, but your average player is going to spend maybe an extra $50, $60 on a game. And like that kind of fills the gap between what a game cost back then and today. Because obviously the cost of making games is through the roof. The budgets for some of these big games are like $50 million or more. So they got to make the money somewhere. And I actually like the model of free to play versus, or even, microtransactions, because I'd rather pay less upfront and pay if I like the game or not. Because I remember buying SNES games all the time. And like we got SNES games when we were kids, and we play for like an hour. Like, this game fucking sucks, and there goes like $60, right? Now you play a free to play game, and if you don't like it, don't spend any money. Boom, problem solved. And even with mobile games, people shit on mobile games a lot, and I do shit on them as well. Like, some pay to win mobile games are god awful, but like, a big mobile game right now is Fate Grand Order. I don't play Fate Grand Order, but almost all my friends in my free company, in Final Fantasy 14, and people I know, almost everyone I know is playing Fate Grand Order right now, and people are going crazy over it. But like, you don't have to spend money in that game unless you want to, and you can decide after like 20 hours, 10 hours of playing the game, like if you want to spend money. That wasn't the case before. Even though games they feel kind of like weird and sketchy, and you get the abuse of the microtransactions, ultimately I think it's a net positive, because you have the choice if you want to spend money or not. Like, we didn't have that before. You had to buy the game to play, and if it sucked, too bad. There goes your $60. I actually like the current model better. And some games abuse it obviously way more than others, and that's a no muss, obviously. But I ultimately like the current model better. Or would you like it if you pay $120 for a game? Like, imagine you could buy the latest Mass Effect game for $120 up front, and there's no DLC, everything's there that's included. Most people are like, no way, they don't want to do that shit. They'd rather buy for $60 and then bitch about $20 of DLC.
You know what's interesting too? Back down, like Super Nintendo, the golden era, whatever it is, N64, whenever you grew up, right? There were so few games back then compared to today. So people are saying all the games are shit today. There's so many shit mobile games. Yes, 90% of games are shit, right? But the 10% that are good today still outnumber the total number of games that existed back then. Yeah. So like, you don't have to dwell on the shit if you don't like it. Like, and also I argue this in chat. Maybe this is not PC, but I don't mind if someone spends $1,000 on a microtransactions. If there's this old saying, a fool and his money are soon parted. So like, I don't, if somebody wants to waste his money, it doesn't. I don't know why people get upset when a game has microtransactions and people spend thousands. If they're not getting cons to spend money and someone else is, who cares? Like, what's not your problem? Like, why are you upset when a game demands money, like thousands of dollars? Just don't play that game. Why do you have to get upset over it? I don't get that.
Okay, again, and I also don't think you can say a fool in the money is soon part. If you spend like a couple $1,000 on a game, I can't say don't think you tell me if you spend $1,500 on a game, you're a fool.
Yes.
Is that your argument? Yes. I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
If you play a game for 6 hours a day, every day for 3 years.
Okay.
And you get max, you play this game a lot. And you tell me if a guy spent $1,200, $1,500 on that's a bad deal, dude. You have a cable.
No. I said he's a fool. I didn't say he's a bad deal.
Why is he a fool? An average American spends $100 on his cable TV.
That's a mistake too.
And he might watch that less than he plays this game.
Oh, I agree.
That's $100 a month for 3 years. That's $3,600. The guy spends $1,500. You calling him a fool?
You're comparing two idiots. I agree.
They're not idiots.
In 2017, if you have a cable subscription in your house, and let's say you're the oldest guy in your house, like 30, if you're my age or under, 30 or under, and there's no old guys living in your house, and if you have cable TV, you're an idiot. I'm gonna claim that right now.
Right, but like if you look at like if you have Netflix and Hulu, let's say, so between both of them, let's say $30 a month, or let's say you're both of those instead, okay? Mm-hmm. That priced over 3 years, $30 a month is going to be $360 over 3 years, about $1,000. Like, why is that different? If somebody gets enjoyment out of playing Fate Grand Order or Maple Story or something, whatever, like I don't think it's necessarily fair to call someone a fool for spending.
Wait, are you saying fools? I don't
spend money on free to play games.
Are you saying fools can't enjoy things? I'm not saying that I enjoy. I'm not
inherently spending money on a hobby is not a foolish thing. If you spend $1,000 if you drop $1,000 on a mobile game and you play for like a week,
is your argument that nobody's foolish? I don't understand. What's your argument?
No, I'm arguing that there are fools if you spend $1,000 on a mobile game and you just don't play after a week. Like, yeah, that's pretty foolish. But if you play for 3 years nonstop, like you got your, why is that foolish? Why is that form of entertainment spending any worse than any other form of entertainment spending? Whether it's movies, whether it's pay for Hulu, like what's the problem with that?
What's my okay? Here's why. There are games. For one, they can probably play that game for free, right? Or they can play by spending $10.
Yeah, you could sneak into the movies for free too. But you want to go there. You want the popcorn. You want the experience.
Hold on. There's a difference between paying once in a while over 3 years, okay, versus spending. Here's the thing. In Clash Royale, for example, right? You could just spend 200 grand, right? Or you could just buy those bonuses that you get when you level up, right? And you basically 80% there. Like even in these microtransaction games, I feel like if you spend maybe let's say $20 a month, right? You get 80% of the way there. Like the extra $10,000 you spend doesn't really get you much. That's what I'm saying is foolish.
But it's usually a lot of these games, mobile games, especially like Fate Grand Order, like you're paying. It's basically PvE games anyway. There's no PvP, and it speeds up the process of grinding, of getting to higher tier content and getting the better heroes in the game. And I don't see. Look, it's not that I do this stuff, but like I see other people doing it, and I'm hesitant to call people foolish unless I see them spending like crap tons of money in a short period of time. But if you play a game a lot, look, I know people that spend thousands on their league account, thousands.
Yeah, fools.
Like, at first, I thought they were fools too, but I'm thinking like, listen, I know this guy plays League for like 6 hours a day. I know this for a fact, right? And he's been playing 6 hours a day for like 3 years. Is it so foolish then? If you got that much entertainment, that much value out of it?
Yes.
Why?
Because the value, you're assuming you're paying for the value, but you're getting the value anyway. It's not like you paid. It's like this.
Are you a fool for going to Burger King? Or no. If you're a fool for buying a hamburger at like,
it'd be like this.
Five Guys, just go to the supermarket, buy yourself, and make it.
Hold up. Imagine Five Guys had a deal today. When Tuesdays in October, you get a free burger. Imagine you walk in, you eat the burger, and you say, you know what, that was a really good burger. You get a $5 bill and you leave it on the table, not as a tip, but like to the boss or whatever. Okay.
Okay.
Like it's foolish. Like that was a promotion. Why you enjoyed it? Now the $5 you gave them had nothing to do with that burger. You just felt like giving it to them. But
that's different. Now you're saying if they donated it. So if I mail a check to Fate Grand Order, like here, you make an awesome game. Here's $1,000 bonus for you guys. That's different. I'm buying a service from them. I'm buying the speed up or whatever shit is in the game.
You can play the game and spend a moderate amount of money without spending thousands. Like that's what I'm trying to say.
But moderate over a long period of time adds up to thousands. I would look, if you get to 10,000, yeah, I can be foolish.
Okay.
My problem is
so I guess so the only thing we're arguing is where we draw the line between foolish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is a dollar amount you could spend that would be foolish.
Okay.
But so
many
people can't mention. His friend plays World of Tanks for almost daily for a few years now, and he spent $500 on that game. Look, $500 is a good chunk of change.
First of all, $500 over years is fine. Again, I'm talking thousands.
3 years, 1,500. I said 3 years, 1,500. My example, that wasn't fine
for League, right?
Yeah.
No, League, because League doesn't. You don't even get gameplay shit when you spend money. You're just wasting money.
But you don't have to. Why? Look, it's a cosmetic. Why do people buy Louis Vuitton bags? People buy skins in League. That's the only example. That's the only difference.
Okay, here's a
fashion statement.
Somebody mentioned it earlier. I do want. What if somebody donates money to you? How do you feel, right? If somebody right now dropped $1,000 donation, it's never happened, by the way. But imagine boom, $1,000 donation. I would feel kind of uncomfortable, wouldn't you?
Depends.
I take it. I take it, but I'm like, thanks, man.
Too,
but I want to make sure is this guy okay? Like, if he's got the money, if he's like some Saudi prince or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. If he's got the money, okay, it's fine. I agree.
Okay, yes, but like, look, I would feel some kind of responsibility that this guy is not some kid who can't afford it. I would feel some kind of responsibility.
You can't say someone's foolish if you don't know their financial situation either. Yeah. Spending $1,000 over a year, it depends on the context as well.
Yes, that's definitely true. I'm talking about the average guy.
I would normally immediately write people off as foolish, but I no longer do so until I learn more about it. But yes, there are many foolish people out there spending way too much money on microtransaction games. That's not even up for debate. That's 100% true. People spend crazy amounts of money that they don't have on this shit. Mm-hmm. I mean,
hold on. Do you really think the average guy who spends like $1,000 on a mobile game in 1 month that he gets it is like a rich person? No, I think these games are made.
$1,000 in a month is too much. I agree. Okay, it's too much.
But these games are made to kind of people lose interest over time, right? On most games, so they're made to catch your attention and be addictive in a short amount of time that they have you, right? And they want to squeeze you. And my point was, if they manage to squeeze you, you're foolish. Like, don't fall for their scam. If you play for years. And then you figure out what's a good value. When's the sale?
Movies, you buy popcorn. You're foolish. You want the popcorn.
Okay, imagine you.
Why? They got you there.
Hold on. Imagine every time you're hungry, you instead of like going to a supermarket in the same mall, you turn into the theater, you buy the popcorn, and you leave. You're foolish.
It's not the same. Of course, it's foolish. But you made the argument that spending money on something like that is foolish based on the context. Look, the movie theaters got you for a short period of time, and they want you to spend as much money as possible.
Yes, they're squeezing you.
Okay. Yeah, so is it foolish to spend money in a concession stand? I don't think so.
If you do it too often, it is.
If you go to the movies every day and you
if you go to movies every day, you should start sneaking in your own snacks. That's what I think. But if you go once a month as like a date, okay, buy the popcorn. Just like a microtransaction game. If you play Clash Royale a lot, like hours a day, and a little promotion comes up, October special, $10, you get all this stuff. Okay, whatever. But if every single day you're opening the app and buying shit, you're foolish.
If it's everyday thing and it adds up to thousands a month, that's different. Again, adds up to thousands over a year or two.
Okay,
or
again,
three.
I think we're on the same page. It's just where we draw the line. And I think it's important when you get, like, for example, I think it's kind of foolish to spend that much money in League, but I don't know if we want to go there.
Man, I've personally spent less than $20 on League in the 6+ years I've played it. I've gotten thousands of hours of enjoyment. I love the game a lot, but for me, the skins don't do it. Again, here's a fun thought. Again, imagine they released a skin for like one of the female characters in League that's carrying a Louis Vuitton bag in the game, and it costs $100. Do you think people would buy it? Like a Janna skin with like
probably
a Louis Vuitton bag, and you see the Louis Vuitton logo on it. Like it's very clear. It looks very like luxurious and nice, and that's like the only addition.
Okay.
Do you think people would spend? Do you think they'd sell a good amount of them?
Probably yes.
That'd be a really cool form of monetization. Imagine WoW or Final Fantasy where you can buy a digital Louis Vuitton bag for your character. Whether I think it would work in MMORPGs really well. It could work in MOBAs as well. People spend $100 on it.
They didn't do quite that, but they did kind of touch gaming, because I remember Louis Vuitton did a collaboration with Square Enix where they had lightning.
But that was for their stores. They just put a picture of
I know,
lightning.
but it's
not the same.
It's closing the
I want to be able to see Louis Vuitton bags in MMORPGs, and then look. Also, from my perspective, the more money Square Enix makes from optional transactions, the more money the more money Riot Games makes for people buying skins is good for me. They make more money, they make more profit, they can hire more developers, they can make a better game. That's good. That's great. I don't spend a lot of money. It indirectly benefits me. So God bless.
I was gonna say, guys, chat, I'm kind of disappointed. I was kind of expecting the $1,000 donation. So
nice try, Altai.
You guys let me down.
The problem is you call them foolish if they donate $1,000. No, if you donate $1,000, you are a dashing, handsome individual, and you deserve an orgy today. All right, from that ad, the War Tune ad rather. All right, we should bring up, now we mentioned CrossFire. I got to mention League of Legends news. Some fun stuff. Also esports related. Another big real sports team is taking League of Legends esports seriously. The Cleveland Cavaliers are joining the League of Legends NALCS for 2018. That's a real talk. Do you know what sport they play without looking?
Cleveland Cavaliers. I'll say football.
No, they're NBA. Nice try.
I don't know.
This is out of touch with the average Joe. All right, I actually didn't know either. I had to Google it, but yeah, they're an NBA team. But they're joining the NALCS, and again, we talked about the esports model. They're going with the franchise model now, but it cost $13 million. They paid the $13 million franchise fee to be in the spot. You got to pay $13 million to be in the LCS now. It's crazy. But do you think that's worth it?
How many slots are there? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Honestly, I don't. This is probably a good investment. Honestly, obviously I don't have the money, but if we could just scrounge up, guys, don't come on. If 1,300 of you, 13,000 of you each donate $1,000 right now, we can make the League of Legends MMOs.com team. All right, so let's go do it. It's a good deal.
So we need 13,000 people to donate $1,000 each. That does not seem likely.
Is my math correct with that?
No, your math is correct. Okay, so we need $1,000. Okay, because we don't have those numbers, we need $10,000 each from watching right now, and we're still not quite there. But I do think it's a good investment too, because if the league carries on and continues to be successful, which I think it will be, right? It might pay for itself. I mean, we've seen a lot of real teams do this. Few real sports teams are taking League of Legends seriously. There's a bunch of this is just an ALCS. There's already, like, in the current League of Legends world, there's a team called Beşiktaş, which is Fenerbahçe rather. Both Fenerbahçe and Beşiktaş have League of Legends teams, and these are real sports, like football clubs in Turkey, like equivalent to like our superstars over here. So real teams are taking League of Legends esports seriously. They're paying $13 million for these spots. So who knows? Maybe 10 years, if League becomes huge, like that could be worth like $100 million today, or more.
Here's the thing. Omar, I know you've always argued that esports are going to be a thing. I'm still, even with this news, even with these basketball teams buying slots or whatever, I'm not optimistic on esports, because here's the thing: a sport needs to be the same for like decades. You can't have like
you do. They change every patch.
They change every patch.
Well, League of Legends will change every patch. No, it's not the same. Rules evolve.
No. Yeah, you're right. What I'm trying to say is, if League is still around in 20 years, I would be surprised, right? As a gamer, because AOL Instant Messenger is dead. 20 years old. It's dead. AOL was huge. Everyone knew. They made a movie. Remember, there was like movies. You got mail. That was something else. But I'm sure there were movies about AOL as well.
I mean, movies featured AOL probably. But yeah.
But my point is, AOL was such a big part of the internet, of our lives. It's gone now. It's dead. It's not. And here's the thing: 10 years before it died, it was so irrelevant. Still, like.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, things change.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. A sport ecosystem needs some kind of consistency. You can't have the game change. Not by patches, but like you can't have different games replacing it. Like you can't go to a basketball game and they're playing Oogla Boogla Ball today. Like, oh, oops, I guess basketball have the basketball. It's gone now. It's not cool anymore. Like you can't have that. The game just can't be different every time you show up.
Well, even if the game is the same, the rules are different because there's patches every.
That's fine. I'm gonna give that a pass. But I'm saying there's no way.
You do have Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike is a good example. That game's like been the same for 15 years. Like CS 1.6, there's still tournaments for that. It's literally the same game.
Yes, Counter-Strike is the trooper. It's definitely been around for 15 years. It's still basically the same game. That's true. But is that going to be true the next 15 years? Like, how many examples like Counter-Strike are there? Remember, when Counter-Strike was big, you know what else was big? Quake, Unreal Tournament.
Half of them are dead.
And those are dead. Like Halo. Like, that shit is dead in terms of competitive gaming. So there's no way, I think, that we're going to have the consistency we need to make esports like a thing.
I don't know. I think a lot of people are interested in esports too. But I wish we had statistics about what % of League's player base has ever watched like a professional game. Like I really wish we knew because there's no data on it. Like we can see how many people watch games and concurrent views and stuff, but like as a % of the League player base, how many people watch esports like league game? I watch them once in a while myself. I used to watch them a lot more. But I wish we knew how many people watch like as a % because you were arguing it was like less than 5% or something, right?
Yeah, sure.
I wish we have no data on that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, also here's the thing. Here's another example I want to give you an analogy. Imagine like a family going to a basketball game, right? You got like the 8-year-olds, kid Bob and Tommy the kid, 8-year-old. He's going with his dad, and even the grandfather's there too. And they all go to the Yankee game. They all like hot dogs, they all cheer. Can you imagine that in esport? I can't. 3 generations, like a grandparent, a parent, and a kid, the same game? No way. It's impossible.
No, I agree. It's impossible.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think it's going to be established in the same, vein as like regular sports.
There was 320,000 people watching the World Elite versus C9 quarterfinal match on Twitch this past weekend. That's pretty impressive. Those numbers are still impressive. People do watch it. So, also, what do you mean by it's already a thing? It hasn't reached the same scale as like NBA yet, but like we've already talked about the numbers and the League World Championship numbers and the LCS numbers are already like on par with like off-season NBA like, baseball stuff anyway.
I'll give you an example of what I mean. When StarCraft 2 came out, there was a big institutional push to make that into an esport. Okay, StarCraft 2.
But the game wasn't as popular.
Oh no, but here's the thing. When it just came out, like when it just the beta, it was still going up in popularity. And a lot of money was poured in because people assumed it would keep going up, right? And I actually watched a podcast with Total Biscuit, an H3 interview podcast, whatever they want to call it. But they asked him about his Total Biscuit owned a team for StarCraft 2. He said he sunk $4 million into it. He's
no way.
$4 million in the hole. So
holy crap, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So the thing is, it didn't pan out because it wasn't big enough. The ecosystem wasn't big enough.
But if you put that money into League of Legends, you make a lot of money today.
Yes, in hindsight.
He backed the wrong horse.
But here's the problem. You don't know which horse is going to work.
Well, this is a safe horse. It's not like an experimental horse. League is already at the biggest.
What if it peaks?
I would say you should back the Brawlhalla esports scene. Which,
if I buy a basketball team today, if I'm a billionaire, okay, like I'm Steve Ballmer, okay, I know in 50 years, 40 years, whatever, basketball is going to be a thing, right? There's going to be people going to basketball games. There's going to be like the Nike promotions. But in League of Legends, there's no guarantee in 10 years from now, 5 years from now, LCS will be around.
You're right. But that's why buying an LCS spot in League of Legends costs $13 million and buying a team in the NBA costs $1 billion. That's different. Okay. You're $1 billion. In 10 years, you're $1 billion. In 20 years, let's say your billion might become 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion, right?
Yeah.
But your 13 million in League of Legends might become $1 billion in 10, 15 years.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
You can't get those returns. This is a high risk, high reward opportunity.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Like a sketchy salesman
the money
right
I
here.
put, the money I put into NBA, I'm pretty sure some NBA teams are publicly traded. I'm not sure. I know some sports are, but it won't go to zero. That's my thing. But
no, I agree.
But with League of Legends, it could very well go to zero. In fact, it will go to zero. It doesn't matter.
It will probably go to. I agree with you. But the thing is, you can't get 100-fold returns on an NBA team the way you today.
You can't get 100-fold on League either.
You can.
No, you can't.
This League team they buy for 13 million might be worth over $1 billion.
No,
in 10 years.
There's no team gonna
And in 10 years, you'll be lucky to get 2-3 times your return on pro team today.
Ain't no league team ever gonna be worth $1 billion.
All right, we got this on Twitch officially over here. Let's see. Maybe if League takes off, a League team might be worth $1 billion. You never know. Or again, already I would argue teams like TSM, which have these enormous like they're involved in a lot of shit. They own a bunch of websites too. That company's probably worth at least it's worth big money. I don't want to say over 50 million, maybe even 100 million. TSM
100 million,
possible because again they're so recognizable. They already they own a lot of websites. They do other things as well besides just League.
Okay. You gotta take that out.
No, still the brand of TSM. It would not be unusual. Okay, we still don't know how much money that Madison Square Garden company paid for CLG because Madison Square Garden bought CLG earlier this year, and I actually didn't look, but I'm gonna see if they released an annual report. I'm gonna dig through it. I'm gonna see if it was answering the Q&A sessions with their analysts. In fact, I'm gonna send an email over to the investor relations department at Madison Square Garden and ask them how much they paid. Maybe they can answer for me.
All right, you do that.
If we can find that number, because I think TSM as a brand is much more valuable than CLG, and it would not be unusual to hear it'd be worth $100 million for like TSM. It seems pretty crazy, but if brand new teams are paying $13 million to get in here, an established team like TSM is gonna be worth lots.
Didn't that one guy's team get bought out recently? That the guy who was dating Lily Pichu.
Yeah, it's CLG. I told you. The Madison Square Garden bought it.
Yeah. You don't know how much though. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much.
Well, you find that out, and we can try to figure out what TSM is worth.
TSM is worth big money, boys. Big money. So I think we have to find out what CLG is worth, and then from there we can extrapolate how much TSM is worth from there. But again, it wouldn't surprise me. All right, I got to mention one more silly bit of news.
All right,
and the most absurd news. Not really, it just seems absurd to me that they're trying to charge money for this.
I got a more absurd story after this, so you go.
All right, Metro Conflict. This duker of an FPS game is relaunching as Metro Conflict Origin, The Origin, on October 27th into beta on Steam. So this game was available through OG Planet for about I think it's 8 months or so. Then it shut down because OG Planet was shutting everything down. But get this, it's a Korean lobby-based shooter, but you got to pay $20 to play.
What
a terrible idea!
Oh boy,
it's gonna be a Combat Arms clone, the same shit we've seen in Ghost in the Shell First Assault, the same shit we've seen in Black Squad, Black Shot, all these AVA. This company that actually made this game, they made Alliance of Valiant Arms as well. Okay, so they make free-to-play lobby Korean shooters. This is like their specialty, right? But they're charging $20 for this game. There's no way in God's green earth this game is gonna be successful at $20. No one's gonna play it.
Nope.
Hey, bro, I paid $20 for Combat Arms. Come on, you want to talk about foolish? Spending $20 on a Combat Arms clone is pretty foolish, right?
Yeah, I agree. That's okay. I'm glad. Oh, what if they play for 1,000 hours? Doop, doop, doop.
If they get 1,000 hours out of it, that's different. But they're not gonna get 1,000 hours out of this. I don't know. It's just so weird that this game was free. The same game was free to play through OG Planet, but they're relaunching this by putting Origin at the end and they're self-publishing it now instead of doing it through OG Planet, and they think they can charge $20 for it. Pretty fucked up.
Well, we'll see. You know what? I bet this is still a better game than like 80% of mobile games. So there you go. All right.
Probably.
All right. Well, I have to one up you with a stupid story, a crazy story.
Right, take a stupid story.
All right. Apparently, in China, Tencent has made a mobile game where you can clap along with the president. So, for those of you who don't know, there was a massive Communist Party meeting once every 5 years. This happens in China. And the president, Xi Jinping, was giving a speech, and Tencent wanted to help out with the propaganda. So they made an app where you can watch and clap along with the president during his speech. Good shit. Good shit.
Basically, you see scenes of the speech. It's like a 2-hour speech, right? And you see like a 20-second clip from that speech. You need to mash the clap button as much as you can, right? And the game keeps track of your clap score. and you compare your score with other people. There's like leaderboards, and you can share it on WeChat. which is like so absurd. It's like I can't believe this is real.
If you don't,
this was on the Wall Street Journal. This is real.
If you don't get at least 1,000 claps, the police come to your house and take you to the re-education camps. All right.
Where you learn to clap faster for great leader Xi Jinping.
It's like Stalin. You know, you got to keep clapping for like 40 minutes.
Never stop clapping.
So I thought
that is weird.
This is the best story I've read all week, boys.
But I think Tencent only did this because they've been under heat from the government there, the communist government, because people were like killing them. People were like, jumping off buildings because they couldn't play Honor of Kings or Arena of Glory, Arena of Valor it's called now. So it's another mobile game they made, was mega popular. It's the biggest game in the world right now. It makes like over $3 billion a year. But people were like going crazy over that game, and the Chinese government was like, no, you gotta put like limit how long people can play, how long kids can play. So they made this app as a form of like to brown nose the government, I think.
Ooh,
again, their good side.
Good analogy there. Brown nose. I haven't heard that one in a long time. But yeah, China's a funny place. We kind of forget that they are still a communist dictatorship over there.
Mm-hmm. Where you must clap for the great leader. I wonder if people download this game. Yeah, I was looking to download it, but I couldn't find it. Like, I'm sure you can download the APK and play it on the Android emulator. Maybe we'll see who gets the most claps. I'll challenge you.
All right. I wonder how many foreigners have downloaded this app as like a joke. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think you got anything else? Any other interesting stories or?
We covered the big stuff. We talk a bit more in the post game. Life is Feudal MMOs coming out into open beta this November, and it's kind of cool. But the problem is like this concept is way too ambitious for like an indie game company. Like this has to be like done by like a giant company with a huge budget to be successful, because they're going for this like Rust experience with a persistent world. Like that sounds mega cool. Like, a single persistent server with over 10,000 players and no wipes. It'll be running for years, where people can craft whole cities and stuff in the sandbox environment. It sounds fucking epic, but there's no way it's going to be like polished and good.
You know, I saw this one. I've been following this for a while, and it's been available for a while, but this is the MMO version, right? So there's like two different games. Okay, so this sounds really cool. I do want to try this when it's out. I don't want to try closed beta though.
I mean, this is just something to keep an eye out for. I just can't imagine it'll be like polished, but like, I mean, I'll keep an eye on it. If people are saying it's good, I'll try it with them. Or it might end up being like Worm Online, where like making a road takes like a week. Who knows?
I do have one more story, and it's kind of related to our foolish thing. Okay, microtransactions.
Take it away.
All right, boys. I found this gem of a comment on Reddit while I was reading about microtransactions. So this guy was a developer for Star Wars: The Old Republic. Okay, I'm gonna read this comment. Ever since I heard from a developer on Star Wars: The Old Republic, there was a customer that spent literally thousands of dollars a day on racial changes because he role-played a shapeshifter. Nothing has shocked me about microtransactions since then. Not the amount of them, not the price, not the insanely predatory practices on it. Nothing. Can you imagine that? This guy is role-playing, okay? And so because of that, he's just spending money. Like, hey guys, I'm a you know, whatever, Wookiee. Now I'm a human because I'm a shapeshifter alien. Like, thousands.
I think we agree this guy's pretty foolish.
Thousands of dollars a day for this. How?
That's insane. That's insane. But again, that's why they do it. You know, people do spend that kind of money. But microtransactions like that, I think, are okay. I mean, the guy spending is pretty dumb, but like having microtransactions like that are harmless, where people get paid to change race or some bullshit like that. I mean, I know people in Final Fantasy 14 that change race for like a week and go back, or like even a day and they go back, and it's like what, $10 a pop or something. So I mean, it is weird, and I would agree this guy is mega foolish to be role playing a shapeshifter and spending that kind of crazy money over it. He's Arab Prince Rich or extremely retarded. One of those. You decide.
Okay, so yeah, the rest of the comment says, hell, there was even one dude who put 2 million plus into Modern War. I don't know what that is. It's probably one of those shitty mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
But
remember that guy who embezzled like $5 million from his company, and he spent $1 million on Game of War. He spent like money on like a really fast car. He spent money on all this like luxury shit, and then he spent $1 million on Game of War. He went full on pay to win in Game of War before he got caught embezzling. Still pretty crazy.
Yeah, so there are foolish people out there. And here's the thing, guys. Like it's not. I don't think it's inaccurate or mean to say half the people out there, right, have below average intelligence.
No, that's true.
Okay, right? That's like mathematically true. So I know I felt so addicted to
No,
games.
you're wrong. Half minus one. The guy in the middle is exactly average. Everyone else is blue.
Fine. But
Right.
I felt so addicted to games before, right? And I can imagine someone who is, in a worse spot, maybe a lot dumber than me. I'm not above average. I'm average, let's say. So I can imagine some of these games being really addictive to people to a point where they do just, and people who are just bad at planning. So like they have a credit card and they don't really worry about where the money's going to come from 2 months down the line, and they just spend like $1,000. Like it happens, and they're foolish. They're dumb. That's it. There's no like justification for it. All right, we'll leave. What do you think, Omar?
No, that's. I mean, again, a lot of people are foolish for doing this. But my only defense was not everyone doing this was foolish. That was my only defense. That people can spend a lot of money over a long period of time and it not be foolish. We can yell at each other about this. And
okay,
Aaron is the 50% guy. I like that comment, Chaos. He's right in the middle.
I'm right in the middle, boys. All right,
That's a special
So,
snowflake.
all right, in the post game, Omar and I will try to nail down where we think the exact foolish line is. How much can you spend without being foolish? All right, so look forward to that. Take care, guys.
Later, you too.
So, Omar, somehow it stopped